All right, so our first conversation, I know raising capital in international markets from Nigeria can be a complex and challenging process. The country's uncertain foreign exchange policy and risk of central bank rationing US dollars can make it difficult for businesses to secure this funding. But let's explore strategies Nigerian companies can adopt to access international capital markets and secure the funding they need to grow and expand. Joining us to discuss this is Mojisola Humponu-Wosu. She is the founder, CEO, Woodhull Capital. Great to have you on the show. Good morning. So, in light of Nigeria's current economic challenges, what strategies will you say are being implemented to attract foreign investors into the country? We've heard of challenges when it comes to bringing money in and taking all of that out when you want to take profit and, move foreign currency out of the country. And we've seen challenges, with that. So talk to me about, what factors, play a critical role in shaping, investor confidence, in the Nigerian market.
Okay, good morning. It's lovely to be here. At Woodhull Capital, we actually emphasize the strategic position that Nigeria in particular plays in the African ecosystem with a growing youthful population and an entrepreneurial population. So we try to focus and emphasize on the strategic nuances of Nigeria and on its own and its positioning as the largest economy in Africa. We liaise with various international investors, international banks, DFIs, and we showcase the best of what's available in this country. We showcase various economies or various businesses in technology, in agribusiness, in hospitality, particularly in healthcare. And I don't know if you follow us and the story of Woodhull Capital. We're actually positioning a license that we got from Central Bank of Nigeria to focus on the creative economy. These are the various things or some of the things that we do to ensure that international investors have a spotlight on what's available in Nigeria.
And I know you deal with most of these international investors. Do you think they're warming up to investing in Nigeria more than the previous administration?
I certainly think that there are efforts with the current government to showcase the diversification of options in the country, particularly the non-oil exports. I certainly think that the regulatory framework and there's efforts with the regulatories and particularly the central bank when it comes to the international capital markets to reduce currency fluctuations and the volatility inherent in that. So there are efforts, and I think they are being noticed and they are attracting some level of interest from international investors, yes.
We keep talking about, SME funding, and, I know you've secured some money, about $25 million, to, fund some of these SMEs. So talk to me about how these funds will be allocated and, how SMEs can actually access these kind of funds, that companies mostly have.
Yeah, so indeed we announced last week that we signed a $25 million line, particularly focusing on SMEs. And what we plan to do first and foremost before deploying and disbursing is to actually identify the various SMEs that may need capacity building, particularly in their due diligence, ensuring that there's business transparency, and making sure that they have access to international markets. So the line that we announced last week will be focused on export-ready SMEs, those who have capacity to export, because we believe that this would help generate FX income and revenue for the country. So the line would first and foremost would focus on capacity building, ensuring that they have access to markets, that they're export ready, that they actually understand what the international markets need, make sure that their quality of the products that they are getting ready is up to international standards. Then we'll begin to help them pay suppliers or pay local businesses and create funding across the value chain until exports.
And, looking at some of these, export-oriented SMEs, are you seeing, some that have, potential to actually do very well, when it comes to, exports and, somehow also produce and supply locally?
Yes, so of course, the obvious one and the obvious new one in the international funding space will be the entertainment industry. There's an uptick of interest in the entertainment industry, and people particularly don't think of them when it comes to SMEs, but you'd find that a few of them are S's, small, and quite a few of them are medium when you compare them to the amount of international funding that is available. And if you look at the film and the music industry, if we look at a unique new economy, you'd find that they are providing their services locally and internationally at the same time. And partnering, and we're exploring different partnerships with this creative economy, and this particularly in the film and music industry. And if you look at it, at the same time as they're serving the local economy, they're exporting their services to the international markets. And that fungibility is of great interest to firms like Woodhull Capital. On the other side is the agribusiness, healthcare, technology-driven businesses, light manufacturing. We are particularly interested in sitting with them, understanding what their funding needs are, particularly their international funding needs, and sitting with them, bringing other partners that maybe could provide local funding and ensuring that they're export ready, enforcing their funding capacity so that they can compete globally, compete internationally. So giving them that platform, funding platform, helping businesses with due diligence. There's a platform that we've partnered with Afrexim called Mansa that helps with due diligence, business transparency, information to international investors that may want to have more information on these. So we have a platform called MANSA that provides due diligence information. Then there's a Trans-Africa or Pan-African Payments Infrastructure System called PSS, Pan-African Payment Settlements platform that helps move money across Africa. And why this is important is when SMEs come to export and sell to various clients across Africa, there's the cross-currency issues when you're selling to suppliers in Kenya, in Nairobi, in Kenya, in Zimbabwe. How do they pay you? How do you get your products to them? How do you pay local ports and other local agencies? So the Pan-African Payment Settlement System helps with that. And Woodhull Capital are agents and market makers on those platforms. So we are not only advertising and showcasing some of these companies to the international markets, we're actually getting involved in every single thing that removes the bottlenecks for them to compete effectively and at international standards.
And definitely, when investing in a business or SME, sometimes the ideas are so shiny, but when you put your money in, sometimes you get a different outcome. So how do you assess risk?
With SMEs, it's a unique sector in the economy. We try to identify those that have ready information. We try to make sure that we have data insight into them, record keeping, and that's why I said at the start that although we announced the 25 million, the huge role for us, irrespective of whether or not we have funding to disburse, is capacity building. So making them understand what is needed, making them understand what unlocks funding, I think, is the most important thing. Then sitting down with them and identifying those that, as I said earlier, are export ready and export funding ready. It's working closely with them, helping them develop their business plans, helping them develop their projections, and helping them identify markets and accessing markets, international markets that they can sell to. There's a platform, an African Trade Gateway platform, that has been set up again by Afreximbank, in which again we are market makers, where we allow them visibility, and we provide visibility in this platform for both buyers and sellers. So SMEs, not only SMEs, but in this particular case, SMEs will be onboarded into that platform and will give them visibility to the international markets, and buying and selling occurs on that platform. And that's the African Trade Gateway platform.
All right, thank you so much. It was great having your perspective. That was Mojisola Humfonu-Wosu, founder, CEO, Woodhull Capital, and definitely, wish you the best in most of this funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, let's find out what's playing out with PMS prices. Is there hope for affordable PMS? You'll find out in a moment. Just stay with us.